everyone, and welcome to the Truly Bedrock Season 2. We've made it to the second season. This is awesome. This is going to be a great season of Minecraft. I can already tell you that. There are so many ideas floating around the Discord. People are building stuff. You can see all the one-chunk builds behind me. We're killing each other. It's been a great time so far. And as you can tell, I'm in a boat. I've got dolphins here leading me around a little bit. I'm headed over to my new base area that I teased just a little bit at the end of the last season's finale, and I can't wait to show you what I've got planned for the next few months. I've got some builds I've never done in Minecraft before, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But before I get there, how about we go back just a little bit and I'll show you logging on to the new season for the first time, and then a little bit of orientation for the season. We've got some maps. We can show you everyone's base areas and things like that. So let's go back in time just a little bit, shall we? All right, season 2. I don't know what to expect. This is the first time I'm going to be jumping on here. Let's go down to season 2. Here we go. I have no idea what's been done here yet. Okay, that's right. We got a new resource pack. I'll talk a little bit more about that as well, about the add-ons and things like that we're going to have this season as well. Loading them all in, and welcome to season 2. Here we are in the creeper hole. Who left a creeper hole in the middle of spawn? I could have spawned in that hole. What else do we have going on here to start with? We got some builds going on. I think that's Loy's house in the distance. We got a frame of something. Oh, and here's the markers for spawn area. We'll talk really quickly about that before we get into the goals for the season while I'm collecting a little bit of wood. It looks like Foxy's coming up from down below somewhere. But yeah, this spawn area is going to be one chunk builds for all the buildings. We might end up having multiple buildings per person. We haven't quite decided yet, but we'll have at least one building here to start the season. We all wanted to start this area together, building close together, interacting a little bit before we all start heading off to our bases and kind of force ourselves into early collaboration. Oh, looks like Foxy's already got a good nether build going. We got a dirt castle, amongst other things. I still have to decide what I'm going to do here. I'm not even quite sure yet. First thing I do, I think I have to pick an area to build in. But let's go ahead and get a little bit more wood, and let's talk really quickly about what the focus of this season is going to be. And of course, we have another update coming, and we wanted to we wanted to restart and reboot the server to take advantage of the Nether update. But the reality is, this is not coming for a few more weeks, we don't think. And we wanted to go ahead and get the world established. Let's see, I need a little bit more of that. Let's see, we'll start with a pick. I get this world established and get everybody sort of set up, get our shops going, and then we're going to reset the Nether. I wonder what Slack wants. Not too far into the season. As soon as the update's available, the Nether is going to be reset. Oh, I need an axe for this. Let's build an axe really quick. The first thing I need to do is I need to go find myself, as soon as I get this piece of wood up, a chunk to start building my little starter house in. Then we got to start gathering some resources. And just remember, one of the central tenets of Minecraft is always replant your trees. Oh, look here. Got little chickens. Got some eggs. I hope someone doesn't mind to take some eggs. Ooh, get some wheat. I need some bread. I need to borrow some of this wheat. I'll pay it back, I promise. Replant. Replanting is important. Always replant. This might be a nice spot to build, although this is Foxy's Nether build, and I don't know that my style would be very compatible. It might be compatible with Loy's, but I don't think it's going to be very compatible with Foxy's. All right, when I find a spot to set down my my roots, I'm going to need a sign. So let's make a sign really quick so I can put this wherever I need to. Let's see. This might be a good spot. There's a nice little lake right here I can build next to. I don't know who that is with that rock pile over there. Here's a nice little frame. Whose is this? Okay, it's Rogue's. He and I are going to be building next to each other on bases, so maybe not here. That way he doesn't have to put up with me very much. And look at all these creeper holes. More creeper holes. What's wrong with these people? I think this is Liara's spot. Whose is this right here? This is Tiz. All right, buddy. Yeah, you don't have too much going on there. Got some more stuff going on over here. Got some chests. I don't know whose this is yet. Hey, Silent. How's it going, buddy? Let's see. Well, he has food. He's got cows, it looks like, so I could borrow food, I think, if I needed to, maybe. Oh, okay, this is Groova's. Please leave all hostile mobs. Oh, Silent. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Whose is this over here? Looks like a little fish farm going on. More. Oh, this is Silent's over here. I wonder what he's doing over on Tiz's property. Look at all these heads. It's a little macabre, Silent. This is a nice little spot. It's next to Silent, next to Groova. It's kind of along the edge, next to Zloy. I think this is going to work. Let's go ahead and set down my little spots here. Gonna get the corners set. One more, and now for a sign. Here we go. BJ's spot. There we go. I think that'll do. Now, as you might recall, season 1 ended with, well, a bit of a bang. In fact, there were a lot of them. We were cast into the know to fight for our lives and were saved by our newest members, Mr. Birdstone, Dadcraft, and Dan Rob's Probs, and brought to the new world. For season 2, we'll be playing on Seed 70, and we'll have the same rules we had last year. 8,000 by 8,000 blocks, or about 4,000 blocks in all directions, and all the areas outside of that will be pruned on a regular basis to help keep the server running smoothly, and hopefully make Foxy's life just a little bit easier, or more difficult. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Now, instead of having an organizing principle like we did last year with arena bases around a central area, we went with a random choice route in season 2, and players could choose to have their base in any location. The one thing we wanted to promote this season, however, is that everyone did their best to locate bases near one another and to have little clusters of people, which you can see in a couple locations on the map. Here's a map of Seed 70 with all the players that have chosen a specific area for the base. If you don't see someone on here, it's not because they're not on the server anymore. They just haven't had a chance to choose an actual location, or they wanted to play on the server for a little while before deciding where their base was going to be. Now, just like last season, we have designated spawn area with our 1 chunk builds, and which again is also not set to the default world spawn just like it was last year. And we also have a dedicated shopping island. Lastly, we have added an add-on pack that was created by Foxy for this season and will be available for download from the trulybedrock.com website. Rather than talking about each one, here's a list that is also shared in the description below. Now, with all of that out of the way, how about I show you around my new base a little bit? And here we are, coming up to the new base area. This was my marker to make sure that I stopped and didn't go running off the edge of the cliff here, because I got to show this to you too. Look at this. Nice. I got this this nice big ravine that's right next to my little base area, but this also is a little marker. Right down below this is something I'm going to show you here in just a minute. Very excited about that. But let's get over to the base area first. So we have this big ravine that I found next to a village. Now, one of the unique things about this village for me is that, and I've never tried to renovate one of these before, is that this is an abandoned village. These are relatively new. I think they came out, what, like 115 maybe? That the abandoned village was a thing. And what I didn't realize about this, let's see if I can get over here and show you one really quick. So instead of having villagers in them, we have a bunch of villager zombies. And so I trapped maybe 4 or 5 of them so that I could turn them all into villagers. And then we'll have a nice little way to renovate this village. And I'm going to turn this village into a completely working village again. We're going to build a big wall around it, build a bunch of more buildings into it. Kind of something similar maybe to what Silent did last season on his base, but a little bit different. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to renovate an abandoned village and make it a living, breathing, happy village once again. And some of the other great things about this area. So let me see if I can orient you a little bit. Base or the main spawn area is back that direction, about 1,000 blocks. So we're not terribly far away, but I'm gonna have to put a portal in here and be able to get over there. And then we have Rogue Fox, which is like he's right over here, about 200 blocks away. And then right on the other side of him is DB, and then Groova was gonna be over here a little bit, but I think he moved, and then Jesse B is also nearby. So we have a lot of people who are gonna be pretty close to us, closer than they were last season. Oh, hello, kitty cat. I'm gonna have to make you my friend. I gotta get some fish for you first. And then we also have a pillager outpost right between Rogue Fox and I, and DB. And so all DB, Rogue Fox, and myself, we're all close to one another, and we're going to be doing a couple of collabs and things like that together this season. And I think the raid farm is going to be one of the earlier ones, but let me one of the main ones, because this is exciting. This is another one I've never seen in Minecraft before, and I found it in my base area, so I'm super excited to show it to you. I found a mine shaft, which is not unusual. There's always tons of mine shafts, but what I found in this mine shaft is very unusual. And I can say with certainty, I don't know that I've ever seen a YouTuber or a content producer have this occur before. And so that's why I'm kind of excited about it. So you've seen people with multiple spawners in one area before, of course, but let's count these together, shall we? So here we got a view of some of them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's a 7th one right here. And then there's an 8th one right there. And there's actually a 9th one that's kind of back up over in that direction a little bit. But the ability to get all these to run at the same time, typically it's unusual that you're going to get this many running at one time. And the reality is I can't get them all. There's this little 4-block area where I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them working, and I can't quite get the 8th one down there. Actually, no, I can't get the 7th one working over there either. I can only get 6. The nice thing is that this is these 6 are all cave spider spawners. All these guys right here, and that one over there is a skellie spawner, and then we had another cave spider spawner down there. So I have a choice. I can either be on these 4 pads and have all 6 of the cave spider spawners running, or I can come over, I think it's like right into here somewhere, and then I can get 5 of the cave spider spawners running and the skellie spawner. And I can't think of another good reason to necessarily have that one running, the skellie spawner, and there's a reason for that, because I found not 1 skellie spawner, but 2 skellie spawners in another location. So that place that we ran by, I believe it's directly above here, pretty close. That column that was up above ground is right above here. So this is at the other end of my ravine. Let's see if I can figure out my way to get out of here without dying. Yeah, at this end of the ravine, like right above here is where that column is at. So we have the village right there. Here's the end of the ravine. And so we have a double skellie spawner on one end, and on the other end of the village, we have the 8, 9 spawners with 7 that we can get active, or 6 that we can get active in one location. So if anyone has ever seen another sextuple, you gotta be careful. I don't want to get demonetized. 6 spawners active in one location before on a farm. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to go see what the heck they did with it, because we have some ideas. I've been talking with Rogue Fox a little bit about it, and we have an idea of what we're going to do with it. Ooh, look at this. I think I actually have a little bit of a slime chunk right here, because I could use me some slimes for sure. I started a little slime chunk over in the one chunk area, and it's not been working very well, unfortunately, but that's because we've had so many people on playing actively that it's hard to actually... did you guys know that you can do this? I didn't know you could do this. Watch this. That's how you can update it so it falls like that. This is good, because I'm going to need a ridiculous amount of gravel this season, because I'm going to be doing a ton of concrete on my more modern builds that are going to be built at the other end of the city. So let's talk a little bit about what the big plan is for this area. And because I really liked this ravine in particular, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just because it's open to the sky. And it had a bunch of lava in the bottom of it, so it was really easy to do this with it. So I'll be able to get a ton of obsidian out of this as well. But one of the things that I have in the area that I live in Colorado, it's actually in western Colorado, so it's not very far away, a couple hour drive, is called the Black Canyon. And it's this really narrow, steep ravine here. I'll throw a picture up of it, of a picture that I took with my son while we were there. It's got very steep sides, and it's very deep. It's actually one of the deepest, in fact, I think it's the deepest, narrowest canyon in the United States of its kind. So I think it's got some really interesting character to it. I think that would be a lot of fun as part of the village update to be able to create something like that. And the unfortunate side of that is that means I'm going to have to do a ton of excavation on both sides here to be able to turn it into something that looks like this deep kind of interesting canyon with a bottom down on it. And then I'm going to bring the village, I think, down into that canyon a little bit. I haven't quite figured out how, but I think it's going to be an interesting kind of, not quite a mega build. I do really kind of want to try and do some mega builds this season, just because I didn't have that many episodes last season. I'll have a lot more this one, I can promise you that. And it's going to need to be taken up with some of those really super large builds. So that's the big plan for the area around the village. We're going to renovate it, expand it, protect it, and then we're going to do something with this canyon, turn it into a really deep ravine / canyon, a la the the Gunnison Black Canyon of the Gunnison. So that's it for right now, I think, in sort of kind of the quick overview of what my base area is going to be. Of course, there's going to be a lot more about that we'll talk about in the next upcoming episodes. We have my main house and the area that I'm going to build around that, and that's going to play. This is all going to play into some kind of storytelling elements this season that I didn't get into much of last season, but I'm looking forward to this season. One of which, here's my skin for later in the season. But first I got to get my house built and get that whole storyline going before I can really incorporate that. So there you go. There's the base area. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head back over to the spawn area, the one chunk builds, and show you my build over there. So poor Silent was a bit landlocked here. This was his area, and again we had Zloy on one side, Tiz on the other, and I think we got Dan on the other side. So he had one on all 3 sides there, and even on the corners with Groovy here, and I was right here. And so I thought that probably wasn't too fair for Silent, even though he said he wasn't too worried about it. He was actually looking forward to the challenge of being landlocked. I felt a little bad about it, so I ended up moving my build, which, by the way, we got a little makeshift temporary PB&K end shop, and I have actually purchased an elytra for them, from them, I should say, and I decided to build over here. And so I went ahead and did a little bit of work previously to get the build ready. I did a little bit more resource gathering, got the basements kind of set up, and then I kind of got the outside ready to go. And also here, I thought I'd show you this real quick too. This is the Truly Trophy Season 2. I went ahead and donated a block of emeralds, and we'll go ahead and be doing like a fountain and plaza area out here that'll tie into, of course, to my build. And what we're planning on doing here actually is a like, what would you call this? A weaponsmith, a blacksmith shop in the middle of the district, and I'm probably going to put in a super smelter here as well. And I'll probably let people use it for free, since this actually isn't a shopping area. I don't think I'll worry about it too much. Maybe if they give me some fuel, then they can use the super smelter once we get it ready and going. And we'll be able to come into here and have a shop that you can drop stuff off and pick it up. That's the big plan anyway. And so it's going to be a bit of a medieval build. I think it'll fit in really well next to Mr. Beardstone's here, and it'll fit in pretty well with Mr. Rogue's over there, and some of the other builds. It fits in pretty well, with the exception of maybe Slack Lizard's Dirt Castle. But then again, I'm not sure that anything fits in with Slack Lizard's Dirt Castle, but I love it nevertheless. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and try this through a time lapse. I mean, it's a little harder to do in Bedrock for sure, but we have a new a camera account, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, in the add-on pack that Foxy created. So let's go ahead and put it to good use. And that'll do it for the most part. I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. It's going to take probably a couple of episodes to get kind of in the flow of doing time lapses, so hopefully that one turned out okay. We still have a little bit of detail work to do, actually a fair amount to do. That's just the basic. Let's do this. This is going to bring down all of this because I want to put in a little bit of a window right here. And unfortunately, concrete won't stay right where you leave it. So in fact, let's go down one more. I think that's going to look a little bit better on the outside. Look at that, got a little bit of a bouncing concrete going on there. That's a little bit weird. I don't know what that is. All right, so let's think about this for a second. How do I want this to look from the outside? I do think, let's do that. I think I want to have the same above. So let's see if I can get really creative here in how I do this. Let's put this right there so I can stand on it. 1, 2, right there. Then I can put that one right there and concrete right above. Perfect. I can't get back to that window, but now let's see. Oh, actually, let's do one right here as well. That's going to work. Close that. And there we go. That turned out pretty well. I still have a fair amount of detail to do to it, but I think that's going to work for right now. Hope you guys enjoyed also the chimney. I'm pretty stoked with the way this chimney turned out. I think I'm going to extend the roof out one more block so it's out past that chimney, and we'll wrap it back around there. Do something kind of unusual on this side. As I said in other episodes, it's really nice to have things that are sort of symmetrical, but also not symmetrical. So see, this is relatively symmetrical on the end here. Then you come to the side, and this isn't so much. The center, or the dormer is kind of centered out right there, but it's just a little bit, one block extra that way. So it's not quite on center. See, I've got 3 blocks over here and 2 blocks there, and I did that on purpose. In fact, I'm tempted to move this back once more, but it's probably not worth the extra effort to do that. So there you go. And the other thing I decided to do is to make these ceilings really low. If you look at kind of old medieval-y kind of buildings, the ceilings are always kind of low and dank. And then we can come up here, second story. This one's also just a little bit low, and it doesn't feel particularly comfortable. And then we have these windows, just these little bitty tiny portico windows that kind of go out the sides here. And then we go up to the third story, which will be a little bit nicer. It'll have some nice windows in it, but for the most part, this is probably going to be a storage room for my stuff, because why not? So all in all, I'm really pretty happy with the way my first build turned out here in the One Chunk Village. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I think that is going to do it for this episode, for episode number 1. I'm really stoked about this one. Let me know down in the comments anything that you guys are excited to see in the next few episodes. If you've seen anything that anybody else has done that might be a good suggestion for collabs and things like that, because I'm always looking for a chance to collab with my server mates here, let me know down in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet subscribed, consider doing so. Maybe hit the old thumbs up button. I'd appreciate it. It does certainly help the channel. It helps the videos. And but that's going to do it for this episode. We will see you guys in episode number 2 coming soon. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.